You hearing me good?
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Right.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, give me just a second. Okay, any preference to which game you wanted to start with?
The one that seemed the most close. I didn't really see any of them. Like I didn't like I forgot which one it was.
Okay. Tell me when you... Wait, hold on.
Oh yeah, mute the VoD because it's like there's just music in it.
Yeah, I usually mute them. This one. You getting the screen share?
Yeah.
Alright. Sound.
I feel like in this matchup it got a bit better after the triple Doran's nerf, but I feel like it's quite hard still for Galio.
Yeah, I mean the trick against Galio, right, is you have to put the lane in a position that he can't immediately shove it out, right? If you're like level 7 plus and you let him get the what's it his Q, right, the range thing on the minion wave, and he basically one shots your minion wave, so you can't actually do anything. But if you don't like, if you stand in a position like as the minion wave is walking up, you can stop him from being able to do that immediately.
Mm.
And I think that's like the biggest opening you can get in this matchup. Um, I mean, do you have any thoughts about this game as well before we start?
My team fed.
Yeah, it was pretty
The TF
disappointing.
went the TF went 1-8, so and then the mid laner kept on coming top. I know I should have been more aware about it.
And
But I feel like the other game was actually the Renekton game was actually a bit closer.
mhm. um, let's see what the comps were again. I forget. So, what I mean, what do you think about these team comps? I think that's probably the
Wait, no,
best place to
never
start
mind.
then.
It was wait, there was no Syndra in this game. Never mind. It must have been a different game. Uh, so like I feel like we with the Hecarim and TF and Zaya, I feel like the Shen support was a pretty bad pick because and they have two tanks. So immediately I was thinking Bork because yeah, but yeah, I noticed that Galio has a better late game than me. Uh, I'm pretty sure Gragas has a better late game than Hecarim, if not go even. Ziggs and TF kind of falls off late game because his ultimate's virtually useless almost, and Cog definitely outscales like all of us. So I feel like we had to win mid game.
Okay, and then how do you see fights playing out, taking that into account?
I feel like I feel like Cog would be very safe because of the Alistar, Galio, and uh, the Gragas because that's like three uh, people that can peel for the cog. So I feel like as long as we catch out the cog, we can win.
Okay, so they're a backline focused team comp, right, with Kog'Maw Ziggs, and their peel threats are in terms of disruption, right? So we've got Gragas, Galio, and Alistar, which are all CC heavy disruption champs. So in the case that you are diving the backline, um, in this game, what what do you think is the most optimal route to go build wise and in terms of like what you're just trying to do in the fight?
I mean, of course, what was it? The magic damage reduction boots. What is that called? Mercs are pretty much like you have to get them because of the Galio, Marion, the Galio, Um, yeah, the Galio actually, because it doesn't lower knockup duration, but still, they're all pretty much AP. And yeah, and I the Bork second because there's like 3 tanks.
But if they're, this is where Blade doesn't really make sense because what are the threats? If you're just hitting Galio, like regardless of what you build, Kog'Maw's gonna kill you before you kill Galio. Same for
Yeah.
Gragas, same for Alistar. So in the case that you're forced into a team fight, you're going to have to optimize towards burst so that in the short duration that you're not CC'd, you can get the maximum damage out of your kit, right?
Hmm.
So building DPS, items such as Blade of the Ruin King, potential things such as I don't know, Phantom Dancer or whatever. I can't think of any other good attack speed items at the moment. But items that are going to require you to auto attack a lot in this game are going to be pretty useless, at least in when it comes to team fighting. When it Because you're just not going to get any autos off in a team fight because of how much CC they have. And then to further that, you look at their comp. There's no shields, no healing. So if you do get a instant quick combo on them with a burst focus build, you can you can one shot Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
But you can't do that with a DPS build. So I think that's one of the first mistakes here. And then you do have quite a good backline, like anti-backline comp. You do have Hecarim, you do have the Shen. So and Hecarim does get reasonably fed. So I think in terms of the comps, this game is very much winnable. But you have to be um, you have to be careful about how you're forcing team fights because if you're gonna go, if you go and not coordinated and you don't kill their damage threats quickly, then you're gonna lose the team fight really fast because of the CC that they have. Anyway, let's get into it. I feel like this level 1 is okay. Um, you're not really gonna do anything against him because he has basically two abilities.
Yeah.
And then you do get it pushing. You do get it into a slow push. Um, this I feel like this is a little bit greedy. You're um, this is something I touch on in basically all of the sessions I do. Um, you don't, there's nothing wrong with giving up the gold of a few of the first minions in the first few minute waves.
Hmm.
You know,
Because I thought I could like Q to that minion and Q back immediately.
yeah,
Like,
but with his level 2, he's just gonna, like you see here, he just CCs you and takes half of your health.
yeah.
And the other reason that's awkward, right, is look at the timing of the minion wave dying. So you're standing here tanking the whole minion wave now as soon as the minion dies there, which is at like 20 health.
What did he channel his E like before? Like I even dashed.
Well, just as it looks like just as you dash, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, his level 1 to 3 is pretty strong. It's actually really obnoxious. But like once you get to level 4, 5, 7, well 6 as well, because he doesn't really have a combat ult, you like the amount of DPS Irelia does, Galio can't really do anything about it. He basically has to use everything to disengage the whole time, otherwise he's just gonna get DPS'd. Um, But yeah, like you have to play a little bit more conservatively, I think, in the first few levels. Um, Go back to weather. jungle start was, I forget. Yeah, it's a bot start, right? So, I mean, in terms of the lane positioning relative to the jungle, I think this is fine. For the first minion wave, because there's not really any gank opening they have on you here, even though you're like half health. They just don't have any damage. He goes for the mid gank. You don't look at the gank at all when it happens, though. Let's see, farm. Tier 8 farm. I think you assume that he did red, um, red wraiths and blue,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Cause yeah.
So I think from that you can assume he's going to be top centric the next few minutes. So holding the lane here is fine for the next part. That trade's okay, but you don't activate your W.
Oh, because it only does like 15 on hit. I feel like it's just gonna like it's
But it
pretty
adds
impressive.
up. I mean, you get like 4 or 5 orders on him. It's like an extra auto attack of damage.
Yeah, I should have activated it. Yeah, that would be like 60 damage.
Yep. What rune page are you running here? I forgot to check.
I think it's the scaling MR. Yeah, I don't have much IP. Scaling MR, flat armors, and attack speed and attack damage.
Okay. And what? Hold on, let me find your. Um.
My room pages and master. No, I mean my master pages are from the op.gg. I just copy the highest one in the Irelia section of the champion analytics.
Okay, so yeah, flat armor, scaling MR, that's fine. 14% attack speed and AD. You want to use, I think you want to use natural talent and bounty hunter.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh, Vampirism I don't think is that great on Irelia because you have quite a lot of sustain anyway because you're most of the time you're going to be starting corrupting port, and when you're not starting corrupting port you're starting Doran's shield, so like the extra sustain is pretty negligible. If I remember correctly, I did the calculations the other day for a video. It's like 20 health per minute or something like that, even less. So vampirism isn't that good. And then the 12 resolve is fine. I prefer using Siege Master and Fearless, but uh, Tough Skin Insight is fine as well. So yeah, that's fine. Tick, right?
So
After
what build would you have done in this game?
probably maybe Bloodthirster, because it depends on how much like burst margin I feel I have on the Kog'Maw. Like if I think I can one shot Kog'Maw with Bloodthirster, I'd go for Bloodthirster this game. Because once you kill Kog'Maw and Ziggs, like all you need is just a bunch of sustain and lifesteal so that you can kill the tanks. Because the way you 1v1 tanks is just by out lifestealing them.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have gone Titanic, probably Locket and GA.
Hmm.
Um, don't really see the point in getting Cleaver in this game because again you're focused on killing the backline in team fights. And then the other thing is when you go Titanic, because of the extra wave clear you have, you're going to be able to shove in side waves faster and potentially like um force them to split up, which is obviously in your favor. because really you don't want to be forcing 5v5 team fights if you can avoid it.
Yeah, isn't Irelia like not a good team fighter or late game?
For very late game, no, but in mid game she's very strong in team fights because her, again, her burst is so high. Like she's if you in a way she's like an AD Kassadin that's like mid game instead of late game. Like her burst is basically as fast as Kassadin. So like you're talking about a WQ auto and R, like two R's in the same time, and that's like 1.2k damage or something like that,
Yeah.
and it's basically instant. So like using her burst is really important in a lot of situations, and in team fights it's the most important thing is using her burst correctly. Um, let's see. Here, I think here's an example of where you could potentially play more aggressively. I'm not, I don't know. I don't think you can safely assume the jungler is top or bot side here. So playing passively here is fine. But if we look at like here, right? Take if you were standing further up here on either side of the minion wave, you can you can auto him, you can turn bait some of his CC abilities. And one of the key things in a lot of these CC focused matchups as Irelia is you're going to try and activate your W after they use as much of their CC. It's like you can bait. So
Yeah.
like
Does,
hmm?
doesn't it like her W only lasts for like 6 or 8 seconds?
Yeah, it's only 6 seconds. So basically if you get CC'd for 3 seconds, you're not going to use half of your W if you activate your W before the CC. So ideally you want to tank the CC first and then stun, do the damage with your W.
Alright.
And so the way you're going to do that in a lot of the matchups is just like you're going to walk up auto, maybe walk up stun. Um, the most obvious matchups for doing that are like Shen. I think it works quite good against Galio as well, but you have to try and bait the CC before you actually fight.
Yeah.
So like I mean here like if you're standing further up you can force a trade because his mana's like becoming relatively low. So even if you don't get a favorable trade in terms of your health, like you being able to put him at that mana is definitely in your favor.
Alright.
So then, you can either force him back, you can get trades on him without him being able to use his abilities, and you can zone him off the wave at that point. I mean, like once the wave is in this position, there's no way you can trade, right?
Yeah, because of the cannon.
Yeah. So you have to get early up, like early on in the minion wave. You have to put pressure on him so that he either uses mana or uses abilities on you instead of the wave. And you look at his mana now, like he's almost completely out of mana, but you're not really doing anything. And Gragas is bot side now, so he was top side to like maybe 4 minutes, 4 minutes 30. But you still weren't doing anything in the lane. Here you force his base, which is good. I feel like you'd be better off locking the lane here instead of you see the minions here, right? There's like four of them almost full health. Instead of hitting these minions, I think you just walk into the bush and freeze the lane.
Yeah.
Um, and then you're looking for a base at 1850 or so gold. So Phage, Dagger, and Boots. You get Phage and 2 daggers. I think better to get the Boots in that situation because the movement speed is going to let you get off more autos. Oh, another suggestion I have is you don't show your chat timestamps.
Oh.
See here?
Yeah.
Um, they're kind of useful, like when people ping stuff like this, so that you can get the timers of them.
Yeah.
Your map awareness is quite good, but like, you know, it's kind of there's more information I think you can pick up, so I think that would help. So here, this is slow pushing now. Galio walks back to lane. So here, I'd say you actually want to look for trades. Um, like you want to try and trade with him just with your basic abilities, and try and like use some of his mana and health pool before you back, because it's going to be 2 minion waves at this point until you're well, it's going to be this minion wave and the next minion wave, and then you're going to have your base opening. So like getting some trades in here, even if you're like trading evenly or slightly worse than him, uh, is favorable because you're going to TP back to lane anyway.
Yeah.
This is okay. So yeah, this wave and then you're at 1850. He doesn't go triple Dorans, does he here? He goes, yeah, Catalyst. Yeah, so here's what I said the boots buy instead of the second dagger.
Wait, isn't it also true that you shouldn't like rush the attack speed item for Phage? I mean for Trinity Force early because it doesn't do anything for you.
Well,
Like
Stinger, you mean?
yeah, because for
Well,
5 gold you only get 11 attack speed and 10% CDR.
yeah. I mean, it's not really a question of the attack speed being that bad. It's like, um, it's almost like you're overcapping on attack speed in some situations, and then like when you look at the value of stats, like the value of different stats changes at different times in the game. Like level 5 attack speed is more valuable than AD, but then level 6 AD is more valuable. So like then you have to count in the utility aspect of AD, because building AD is going to give you better Q resets. So it's going to give you more openings to use your Q resets during the middle of a fight. So it's sort of like you're building a lot of attack speed, but then you're not backing it up with any AD. So you're missing out on the utility. You're missing out on your ult damage. Um, Attack speed again is only useful when you're getting off auto attacks. There's no point in having 2.5 attack speed if you only get 5 auto attacks in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So you have to take all of the factors into account, and then like when you get Phage, you get the movement speed as well, so you can orb walk better. You can get more auto attacks off through that. And the same is what I said for boots. Like I think boots is better than the second dagger here, because like it's just gonna help you stick to Galio better. And if you like with Galio, if you can orb walk ahead of him, he can never use his jump to escape.
Yeah.
This is fine. Kind of use a lot of mana pushing the minion wave there. But you still have 3 pots, so it's fine. here Gragas is topside, right, from the second buff spawn timer.
But like at this point of the lane, he just always perma pushes, so it's like I can't get a good trade in.
Yeah, but it's still to do like here, say here if you prep one of these minions, when he walks up, like he can't walk up far enough to get his thing on the back line here. Like if you prep this minion, you're just gonna Q to the minion and you're gonna start a trade here, and he doesn't have the range to get to there immediately without walking up. And like if he walks up past here with that minion prepped, he's dead. Or at least he's gonna lose like 80% of his health.
I see.
So like the whole thing against like someone who wave clears like this is you have to get to the minion wave first, and you have to like set up a trade that you can make as soon as the minion wave collides. Because otherwise, otherwise if you let the minion wave collide, wait 2 seconds, then he's gonna have pushed it already, and then you're not gonna be able to trade anymore. So then so that's why you're looking for the trade opportunity. But like here, I'd assume the Galio's top side, so you don't want to trade in the first place. This minion wave is kind of awkward. Okay, so 6 TP's back mid. I don't think you want to walk up to those minions there. You could have used those to force a trade.
Oh, yeah. I see.
How much damage do they do? Maybe not. I'm not 100% sure whether a trade there would be favorable, so. I mean, you are getting a farm advantage, which is good, so. Like, having him shove into your tower all the time is fine. Here you just want to, like, go under the tower and base. Yeah, that's. See, it goes, like, it's alright. The trade isn't that horrible.
I was just like, no, I think I just stayed because my TP was coming up anyways.
Yep. I mean, I think you could have traded there, actually. Like, let's see. Here.
Uh-huh.
With your ult, like, you have maybe 300 extra health if you get your ult on the minion wave. I think if you dodge his, maybe you'd have to flash his damage, but like I think you might be able to kill him because he's quite low here.
Yeah.
But then when you go back to to which one was it? This minion wave, right? I think you can just trade here as well. But then like again, it's no info on the jungler this whole time, so it's all kind of risky. And then the jungler comes here, right? Yeah. When was your TP up? I don't know. Like, I think you should have, like, at this point, you should have just, after this here, yeah, you should have just walked all the way back out of the, like, completely out of range and based. Because you'd have TP up.
And also, it just made me waste a flash.
Yep. I mean, I don't think you can predict that the Gragas is there in the first place, but, like, if you're talking about when you're trying to get off the base, you just, at this point, you know, your TP's on 8-second cooldown, so it's 8 seconds for you to recall anyway. So like this, instead of recalling here, I think you should have just gone back to the either behind here or to the back bush there and recalled. And then you'd basically be back in lane. You'd lose these two melee minions and maybe one of the. You'd lose all the. You'd only lose one of the casters. Yeah, so I don't know. So here you're maxing your E. Do you max your E every game?
Second.
Yeah. Do you always do second max E?
Yeah, it's just because like the 1 second stun to 2 second stun is like pretty powerful.
Yeah, but if you're bursting someone in a team fight, you're not gonna use
Yeah, I guess.
your stun. So again, like the problem I have with the setup you're running is that you're doing the same thing every game, and not every game is the same.
Yeah, I tried some. I changed some. Like I tried Titanic a bit. It started working, and it stopped working if the team doesn't know how to like stop fighting just for like 5 minutes or like 2 minutes, so I can push out a wave and come. Like
Yeah.
teammates don't understand. So
Okay, that's fine. Good. I mean, mechanically, you look fine. I think you could tighten up your orb walking a little bit, but other than that, it looks perfectly fine. Um,
yeah, I just really am bad at team fighting with Irelia, in my opinion. Like that's the only thing I just can't do very well.
well, I mean, the first thing is just running the right setup, right? Team fighting with Blade is cancer. It actually sucks.
Yeah.
And then when you're looking at maxing E as well, like you're just gonna be sitting in the team fight. You know, if you get a team fight at level 13 and you still have 1 point in your queue, you use your Q on a non-reset, and you're going to have what is it, like 10? It's gonna be like 10 seconds before it's up again. While if you'd gone for your Q instead, it would only be like 3.5 seconds, 4 seconds. This is fine, and then you go into top to clear that. That's all. Like at this point, um, I think you can force a little bit more on the map.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Trying. Yeah.
I mean,
I like to go down bot for that other time, but I just ended up coming mid.
yeah. I mean, going to the top there was fine, I think, and then Hecarim does clean up a bit. Oh, they don't get any kills.
I was looking for a TP there. I think just like looking down, see if the fight was continuing.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of awkward with the position of the top minion wave because you're kind of forced to go up, but then they force a fight in bot, so mm, yeah, I don't think there's any TP you can get off there. No, too late. Yeah, Galio's missing. TF's dead. I think you. No, this is fine. Go into mid lane here. Just leave like one of the things you can do with conceding towers, right, is you can spend more time on the map when you concede towers. So you know how what determines the amount of time you can spend on the map is the distance between the two towers in a lane. Because when it's really short like that, it's going to be really quick for a minion wave to arrive. Like for a shove, for a push to happen, it's gonna happen really quickly. So you only have like 1 minute or something before you have to show up at the tower. Otherwise, you're gonna be losing the minions. So when a tower is this low, you can just give it up and say, okay, take the tower, and then you're going to have the whole, you're going to have more space in the minion wave here, like this. So it's going to take longer for a push to get that far. So you're going to have more time on the map. You're going to be able to force other objectives, force team fights. You're going to have more time to set up and things like that. And then you're going to be able to. The other advantage is that if you can time it properly with your team, you're going to get better shoves into them, and like if you do it, if you set up correctly, but if you set up better than your opponents, you're going to get more time than they do. Um, and it's the same for getting a tower. So like the value of getting a tower is quite high because you can because you have more time to work on the map. But like it's better. I feel like in a situation where you are like in this situation you're locked out of doing anything. So even though you're enabling Galio to have more time, it's still better for you because Galio already has more time because he isn't like there's no the onus isn't on him to do anything. He can just shove into your tower the whole time, and like you're one of the more fed. You're on the Triforce power spike at the moment. So him just shoving minion waves into your tower while you're picking up the minion waves doesn't do anything useful for you. And that's in his favor because then he's just stalling out the game.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, just like give up the tower, make sure like Cog doesn't get fed or whatever.
Yep.
Just roam around.
So, and that's one of the things you can do with your Triforce power spike is giving up the towers like that because at this point you're much stronger than Galio is on the map. I think you misplayed this.
Yeah.
There's the Q reset you have here. You don't. Yeah.
Maybe if I did put points in my Q, I would have one shot that Cog, gotten the reset.
Well, I mean the mistake here is not using the minions, right?
Yeah.
I mean Kog'Maw's moving forward this whole time. You don't. Oh, your Q's on cooldown. That's why. That's awkward.
Oh yeah, I missed the Q reset on that minion up there, I think.
I feel like in that case it's better to like walk back, try and bait them out a little bit more further from the tower. I mean the other thing you can do is just straight up flash, like here, flash RQ on the Gragas.
Yeah, yeah. And then I could have gotten the reset on it.
Yep. Because I think you do have Q reset. Definitely, if you're maxing Q, you would reset on the Gragas there, and then you would be able to auto Q or auto Q the Kog'Maw and then stun the Ziggs, and then you'd probably just go on the Q reset out on the minion wave again. And then also like you have 600 gold of attack speed in your build. What if you were buying long swords?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean by buying AD gives you a lot more utility because your Q resets are much more open. Um, like you build Titanic, for example, you can use Titanic Q on a full HP melee minion if you're not too far behind. Full HP melee minion, so you can Q reset 3 times on one minion wave. So you imagine the whole minion wave like this. You can Q reset here, Q there, Q there, and you see how much reach you have then. How much more potential to make a pick you can use. And not just that, like you could Q reset down into the minion wave like this, put a ward somewhere, and then just jump out again. So, there's so many uses for opening up your Q resets. Um, like there's no reason. Well, I mean, you have to try and make the best use of your Q as possible in the given scenario. So it's an incentive to build more AD focused builds. It's an incentive to max your Q first. Um, and then it's an incentive to like put a lot of effort into finding ways you can use your Q, because at this point, like that's really the biggest thing about Irelia at the moment in the current meta is just the fact that she can make really deep picks, the fact that she has really fast burst, and the fact that um she's just really snowbally through the mid game, and so you have to take advantage of those things.
How do you think Irelia would get into the meta? Like, at what scenario do you think she would be viable? Like, played
Or
LCS.
LCS tier.
Like, she
She
once
would
was.
have to have she would have to have really safe laning.
I mean, doesn't
Um,
she? So it's stunned.
no. Like if she's really easy to shut down in lane with jungle pressure, and if um like if she gets shut down and she doesn't get onto Triforce power spike, she's completely useless.
Yeah.
So I think my favorite example is in Worlds. SKT played Irelia, and you could see the amount of effort they were putting into protecting the top half of the map, protecting Irelia. And like the only reason Irelia was any use basically was because the bot lane of SKT was far stronger 2v2, that they could put at least topside the whole, like literally the whole laning phase, to stop Irelia from getting ganked, getting put behind in the 1v1. So, and then even then, like she was forced to go into a Hex Drinker before Triforce. So her Triforce power spike was only at like 19 minutes, and then when you look at coordinated team fights, it's really easy to team fight around Irelia as well. So yeah, in that like it's not um it doesn't give you the same versatility as other top laners do.
Like, like Fiora at the current meta.
Yeah,
Like,
like
really.
Fiora has a stronger early game, stronger late game. She's weaker in team fights, but the team fights don't matter because she just destroys tanks so hard. And Irelia doesn't have the tank destroying part. Uh, she doesn't have as dominant laning as Fiora. The only thing she has is team fighting, but the team fighting aspect of Irelia is much less. I think it's much less apparent in pro play because it's easy. It's relatively easy to coordinate team fights around the carry in pro play relative to solo queue. Mm, yeah, I don't see Aurelia being at all viable, to be honest, in pro play until they rework her. Unless she like no, there's no way with her current kit right now that Riot would let her be so powerful in solo queue that she could be played in pro play. So yeah. Anyway, um, team's pushing top. This is fine. I think that whole sequence was actually really really well played by your team. Had the team fight in bot gone better, like that would have been really really favorable. Here you like at about here when Alistar shows, you should just not bother with this. Just walk back into river.
Yeah.
Like that most of their CC is area of effect, so if they're just using it on one person, you know, they're getting less value out of their abilities. Potentially, I don't know. They don't use that many. Do they? They use. Yeah, they use a bunch of stuff on Zaya there. She should have just flashed out, like here. But yeah. Yeah, and then you get caught up in the CC as well, and you have no no tankiness at this point yet. That's kind of BG.
Yeah. At that point, it's just like Cog got ahead there, and
No,
of course.
it's not Kog'Maw getting ahead. It's just the fact that like you got perma CC'd, Zaya got perma CC'd, so it's not, and it's really more like I think Ziggs is much bigger threat than Kog'Maw.
At this point. So yeah, they just keep on pushing, I think, and then they take all our inhibs, and then we just.
Okay, this is fine. I don't like this.
Yeah.
You saw Ziggs coming up with the TF ult. So you know Ziggs is in this side of the map. Honestly, I would have gone mid or bot here, coming out of base. Like,
Because they would still gotten the pick even without me.
I don't know. Suppose there's a tower, but like, I don't know. TF is mid as well. Kind of awkward. Because the timing you can make all of these decisions is like all really weird. So yeah, at this point you kill the Alistar and just go into mid. Or push up top lane. But I don't really like the idea of pushing up top. Yeah, he's pretty fed. And then again, like if you look at that fight, right? How much value are you actually getting out of your attack speed? You get one auto off, you walk back, you get Q auto off, one auto attack. So you get a total of 3 auto attacks off, which are completely spaced out. Right? So none of the auto attacks are consecutive, so you're not actually getting any of the value of attack speed at all. So this, you know, this is what 1k for
The recurve is 1k.
recurve, yeah, and it's giving you the equivalent of a longsword of stats.
Yeah, with the 15 on hit. Actually less, because it doesn't go on your R
Or your Q, yep. And then I think if you hadn't died there, I mean, there's nothing that can actually like your team can actually do at this point to stop the Baron. I think. I suppose Gragas is pretty low, but you want to push up the minion waves a little bit more before you actually look for objectives. Like if you shove up all the minion waves and you start like you force a Baron, you can get okay team fights in the jungle off that. It's just kind of awkward when you get kills and then all of the minion waves are pushed up against your team, so you can't actually you know, you can't actually get objectives off it immediately, and you can't really do Baron while Ziggs is alive. Or you'll never be able to finish it. So what you have to do is you just have to get Ziggs to walk up in the jungle, and then Hecarim can just go around with his move speed. And like that's how you make picks against this team really, is by, because you do have, look at their map, right? The amount of map area they control, basically this. Right? If anyone walks further than that alone, TF can ult, Hecarim can get a pick. Maybe if you're in position, you can get a pick as well. So ideally, you're pushing up the minion waves to this line, and then have some vision sort of around the edge of that, so that you can tell where they're going to show up, and then you can make a pick based on that. And you know, potentially that involves starting a Baron and then going back into the fight. But just having the minion waves pushed up against you all the time is really awkward. And again, this is another place where Titanic plays in nicely, because you can quickly push up a minion wave and then show up in a team fight.
But Titanic doesn't like give you like as much like G-Bay's video. It doesn't like give you as much stats, other like for the 350 gold value.
Why do you watch G-Bay?
I don't know. He just, I don't know. He's the reason I got into Irelia.
But like, G-Bay has no idea why Titanic is good. He picked up Titanic like 6 months after it became like people actually started using it. And actually, there were people that used Titanic with the old Rage Blade. You'd go like Rage Blade Titanic Sterix or something like that, or Deadman's, with the original, like the stupid OP Rage Blade. But like, G-Bay has no idea. There's no idea why Titanic's good. He has no idea like why he's stuck in like Plat 2 MMR. Like, no. The reason Titanic is good is because it gives you a bunch of burst. I have a video on my channel about it. Oh, I'm not gonna bother going into the details because I cover it all in the video. I'll link it to you afterwards, but
I think I watched that one. It's the one with the black cleaver, and you
not the cleaver one.
Or is it the one where you compare the Titanic to the shield item? The
What, Sterix? Yeah. And
yeah.
I compare Titanic, Sterix, BT, and like touch a little bit on Blade, but like Blade is so niche on Irelia at the moment because there are not that many situations where Blade is going to be better than BT, better than Titanic. So, like, the reason you buy Titanic is to shove minion waves up fast and team fight. The reason you buy BT is to team fight in a low CC environment. And then the reason you buy Blade is because you can kill their front line faster than their back line kills you.
It's like only if you're like really snowballing.
So if you're like stupid fed against like an Ezreal or something like that, then you buy Blade because you're just gonna kill their, there's no point trying to kill Ezreal because Ezreal's not gonna do any damage anyway.
Yeah.
So you kill the front line first. So that's when you can get Blade, but otherwise it doesn't make any sense to buy Blade because the primary threat in a team fight is going to be their back line, and Blade doesn't help you at all against the back line. And then like when you look at the stats, Titanic gives you it gives you 45 AD or something like that, 35 AD, and then like 40 on hit damage. So, I mean, in terms of stat wise, it's not that terrible.
Yeah.
And then it gives you the 450 health, which you're not getting on
Blade.
Blade.
I think I remember the reason why I don't like it. It's because like when you like once you're like around this level, when you queue, to the backline minion, and then you want to E the target, but the Titanic AoE cone like kind of did a bit of damage to them, so you don't get the stun off. I think that was a
So you
reason.
max your Q instead of your E.
Alright. So whenever you buy Titanic, max Q second.
Usually. Like the most I max E is I'll put 3 points in E and then max Q. But I never full max E second. Like the only time I max E before level 15 is because I'm laning against LeBlanc. Like that's the only time it makes any sense to max E, I think.
Have you ever how about maxing E like first, like not even W?
Against LeBlanc, that's the only time you do it. You max E to level 7 and then max WQ. But like I don't think putting points in your E early is actually that good in most scenarios. There are situations where it is good when you're like when you have a strong AD carry and you're just gonna kill the front line fast. Then it makes sense because then you can then it gives your AD carry a lot more time. But then again, like you're not carrying the game at that point. This is a game where you're gonna have to carry it because your TF is useless.
Uh-huh.
So like your primary threat, like the primary role again of you against their team comp is you're going to try and disable their backline with Hecarim. And then once you do that, like they're not going to have nearly as much damage.
I see.
And then Xayah can clean up. But you have to look at these things on a case by case basis. You can't. One of the problems I have with Jibei is he generalizes things. He says, okay, this item is good in terms of stats, blah blah blah, but he doesn't look at, okay, does this item actually make sense in the way this game is going to play out? And he's very like his um, his analysis on a case by case basis, I feel, is his biggest weakness. He doesn't see why he loses a play. He sees he loses the play, but he doesn't he doesn't understand. Okay, how could I have made this play better? Is this play actually a good play in the first place? He doesn't look at it in that sense, I think. Anyway, continuing with this. So what you need to try and do here is you need to try and get to your blade. Like you need to complete the item. Both Blade and Titanic are very power spiky items. They have a huge amount of power on their completion. So it's preferably you're not looking for fights when you're sitting like 900 gold from completing it, or something like that. Here you're not using your W to push, you're just using your Q. I think you just use your W and push it up really fast.
Because I thought like with these items, like when you auto Q a backline creep, I thought I could do that. Like I missed the Q reset on one
Yeah,
of them.
no, you have to do it with your W. But
But when you finish the blade, it works.
yeah, no, but there's so much like what. But my point is, why aren't you using your W to push? Like the only reason what you're trying to do here is you're just trying to push out the wave as fast as possible and get your Triforce.
Yeah, I showed them.
Getting like slow shoving the wave, it's not any use here anyway. Also, another reason to max your Q is like your wave clears faster. Um, I'd have to look for a clip of it. There's a lot of ways you can optimize your wave clear as Irelia in terms of the speed, in terms of the mana usage, in terms of the in terms of like finding a balance between the mana usage, because you have Sheen, like using your Sheen Q to one shot minions and then ordering between each Sheen Q is like by far the fastest, most mana efficient way to clear, but you're not really using that here. So imagine we look at this minion wave, right? Well, what you're gonna do is you're gonna Q to this minion. You're going to, or you're gonna auto this minion first, right? To about this health.
So you can queue back after you
Yeah,
finish
so
the
you're
pack.
gonna Q to this one, order with this one low, then you're gonna order this one and then Q back to there once your sheen's back up, right? And then you're going to you do this with W active as well. So really, yeah, so you're gonna go back to here and then you're gonna this one's gonna walk up and then you're gonna Q to this and then back to the other minion wave, back to the melee minions, right? And I mean, you look at how much time you take to clear the minion wave here. It's like almost 10 seconds.
Mhm.
So, I mean, if you it would be, let's see, how many orders would it be? One, Q, auto, auto, Q. You would have had cleared the minion wave by now. So like 5 seconds shorter.
Mhm.
And you would have used how many less Qs? You would have used like 2 or 3 less Qs. And then like the other thing you look at is, okay, you order this minion to like 100 health and then you use your Sheen Q on it. Your Sheen Q does 460 damage. Like you're wasting so much damage
Yeah, I see.
on the minion. So like if you're it seems like a small thing, but it makes a difference in the end because you can control how fast you clear a minion wave, how much mana you use in clearing a minion wave. I mean, there's another one of the coaching sessions I do where this guy pushes up the minion wave, and he ends up at the enemy inner tower with 200 mana because he's been spamming Q on all of the minions. And, you know, obviously you're gonna run through your mana doing that. So like in cases where you're looking to fight after you're pushing out the minion waves, you'd want to use less mana while pushing it. But you want to push it, maybe you want to push it as fast as possible, so that you know the timing of when you have the minion wave up is better. And so you can take all of these things into account and you can optimize around it. You can gain, you know, 5, 10, as we see here in this minion wave, like 5 seconds. 5 seconds is a lot of time. You know, you can use maybe 100 mana less per minion wave. Like, you know, there's a lot of small things that are going to add up when you do it every game. So you have to. I feel like once you're past sort of plat and low diamond, the majority of what the improvement is to be made on your play is going to be optimizations, and it's a lot of small optimizations on a lot of different aspects of play. Do you watch this guy, this Korean Irelia One Tick Pony?
Yeah, you sent me the link, that
Oh
one.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, I watched like his one on, forgot, but like I watched a couple of his, cause I myself am personally Korean.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, you cancel this. This is fine. Like this is all fine, but you know, just think you could have pushed the minion wave up a little bit quicker. You could have used a little bit less mana. Anyway, you get the inhib here. This is all fine. Your team does fine here as well. Um, I think you should have just warded on the blue buff. If you look at the timing of them walking up out of base, um, you can guess that Alistar based on about the same time as they did, and the most likely path for him to take is into top because there's nothing to get on the bot half of the map. So what you want to do is I would walk this way and I would ward here. alternatively you just ward somewhere around here. I think a nice ward placement is sort of, if you look somewhere around here, because people tend to walk up through these paths with the red trinket. And so if you put the wards off like at the edges, sometimes you'll be able to get vision in places where they won't clear. Like it'll still give you useful vision because you'll see when people walk past here, but the likelihood that it gets cleared is lower because it's not sort of in the primary path of where you'd expect them to go with the sweeper.
Yeah.
And then you're recalling on the ward there, so yeah, I mean at this point you just get cancelled anyway. But you want to use one of your wards somewhere here.
Yeah.
And then you go Blade into Spirit Visage, which is okay. I do feel like you get better value out of Locket this game because of Zigzalt.
Oh yeah. And their AoE damage, you have a lot of them. With the Gragas and the...
Yep. It's just that a lot of their damage is like predictable, so it's relatively easy for you to get a good shield with the Locket. This is fine.
It's just because they're dragon, I want them to force back.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's good. What I would have done there is I would have warded sort of, well, I mean, while the minion wave is up, just ward here. Somewhere
so
around this part.
for the rotations.
Yep. And like the other thing you'll notice, I don't know if you ever play support very much, but
I usually just dodge if I get it.
But usually people will activate their trinket when they're passing about this line, the red trinket. So unless they know there's a ward in this part, they won't actually clear this. And this still gives you a lot of useful vision because you can see like when someone's coming out of base, right? You know, maybe someone, you don't know if someone recalls in bot side of the map while you're doing Baron. And then that shows you, okay, they've recalled and they're walking up. How much time do we have to finish the Baron? So like, there's a lot of extra information you can pick up here that you're not doing because you're not using your wards correctly. And that, like, I think yellow trinket is hugely underrated and blue trinket is massively overrated. But the problem is people don't know how to use yellow trinket. Like, knowing where to place wards is really really important. So here you TP's up. This is fine. You kill Kog'Maw.
I think I pinged bot here.
Yeah, you originally pinged to go bot. You got the pick in mid.
Because I feel
He's
like
got a
I
lot of
don't want...
armor.
It's not a good idea to dive 3 tanks with a bunch of CC.
Nope.
Honestly.
Again, it comes down, you're looking to get the Ziggs. There's not really that much value in killing their tanks at first. If you were there, I think you guys would have got the kill. But I don't know. I think the right call is for you to go bot there. Shen like went on the tower for no reason. And at this point this is like whatever. Here you're gonna go bot again. Push up the waves. The other reason like Spirit Visage doesn't make that much sense is because they have Morellos on their team, so you're not gonna get as much value out of it.
Because Spirit Visage scales with, I mean, like, works well with Bork because it essentially gives you more lifesteal.
Yeah, it works okay with the lifesteal items, but the problem is that like when you look at your tankiness in team fights, your health pool, you have to consider healing. But when you're considering healing, you have to consider your original health pool because you have to look at like the whole your tankiness as a whole. Um, so uh when you say okay, Spirit Visage increases my lifesteal by what is it, 30%, 35%. Okay, how much do I lifesteal? Well, let's say you lifesteal 500 health in a team fight. So Spirit Visage is through the lifesteal is giving us about 160 extra health in that team fight. Now, let's say we have grievous wounds on us in the whole team fight. Well, now the lifesteal that we get is halved. The amount of the amount of extra health we get from Spirit Visage is also halved.
Oh yeah. So it's not very efficient.
And like one of the big reasons about lifesteal items is that you can actually get more tanky through lifesteal than you can by buying actual tank items. But there are several big considerations you have to take into account. Is A, are you going to be able to actually lifesteal? And B, are there any healing reductions on you?
So the Hex Trinket would have been good, or to burst the backline.
I mean, I think this game I probably would have gone Titanic, Locket more. Because like Locket, sorry, more and Sterix don't stack anymore, right?
Yeah.
But More and Locket do. So you can stack the two shields there. They're both good MR items. Their primary damage threats are Kog'Maw and Ziggs, which Kog'Maw is like half magic damage anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then you're getting Titanic. Titanic is giving you burst. So I think that's probably more of the kind of build I'd be looking to get in this game. And then maybe you round that off with Blade. But Blade would be sort of a late game buy here. Um, and still
So
like,
should I buy Blade like 5th item?
yep, 4 or 5. But I don't know. I'm not sure what item I'd get 4th or 5th in this game. You'd want to try and finish the game before you get to that point.
Yeah.
Kill him there, yeah.
See, like the Bork active was helpful there.
Yeah, but if you had Titanic, you know what you'd do here. You'd Q to this minion and then Q to the last caster minion.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that with. I don't think you'd be able to do that with this. But no, you wouldn't be able to do it at the moment. If you'd maxed Q, you would with this build. But like getting the double Q resets here, you would have got the stun. And otherwise, you just start auto trading with him. But anyway, like you would literally burst him in 3 auto attacks with Titanic. 4 auto attacks. Okay, so you get Zigzalt. It's okay, so you get 1 Baron off them. Shove this up, that's fine. You don't have any vision on the bot half of the map here, this is kind of awkward. I wouldn't walk up like this. Okay, yeah, you have to leave this. Yeah, that's nice. Unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't expect that first.
I don't know, it's really forced. I feel that this is like you see Galio and Alistar are bot lane here. Well, Galio walks towards Alistar walks towards mid, but Galio stays here. Like I just base here, and
Yeah.
you know maybe TP to like, well, they don't think there's really any TP opportunity, but still, they have 2 people on bot half of the map, so no.
Yeah, but still, I had like what was it? Spirit, the Spectre's Cowl and Magic Resist boots, so I wouldn't expect to like get bursted that hard. But I
Well,
guess
what
I did.
items does he have again? He has Void Staff at this point, doesn't he? Yeah. Look at his
Oh, okay.
items. He's 4 items, and you're
Yeah.
2.5.
Wow. You said. And 353 CS.
Yep. Well, that's wave clear champs for you.
Uh-huh.
You know, when you have a single champion that's like very wave clear centric on a team, and like the game is going really slowly, it's always going to end up with one person getting a huge amount of CS. You see sometimes like Xerath in pro play. If you look at sort of season 4 and 5 in Korea, there were like games in which you had this Xerath that is like 500 farm in 35 minutes
Wow.
because he's wave clearing 2.5 lanes at the same time, and like the only farm he's giving up because he can let the AD carry wave clear it. But half of the time the AD carry can't safely wave clear it, so he is forced to wave clear it. So he ends up with like 3-4k gold over 6 items. But yeah, I mean wave clear champions are disgusting when it comes to farming, especially Ziggs. Here, you GQ. But yeah, his W or whatever it is, the minefield did like 1k damage there.
Yeah.
But it's too forced. I think that's the biggest thing there. You could have like, I mean, you look at where they show in mid, like you can just go off and kill Kog'Maw. Yeah, I don't think at this game, like at this point, it becomes really hard.
Because the Kog'Maw scaled and pretty much the Ziggs is almost
Yeah, the
killed.
Ziggs got too fed, and then the Kog'Maw's scaled now, so you can't focus the Ziggs either. Um, yeah, I mean at this point this is just game over. I don't know. I like there's a lot of opportunities I think you miss out on because of your build, and then like I think if you start out building differently and just try and make a bit more plays, you'll sort of you'll get the hang of what you can and cannot do at different points in the game. I mean you're here 6 kills, 0 assists, right? 6 out of 20 kill participation, which is kind of awkward
Yeah.
because I mean you were kind of fed going into, like, I think you were set up okay for the mid game, but like the combination of your build and then the positions you fought in just doesn't like you just didn't get anything out of it. Uh, the other game, how much time do you have?
I don't like maybe 20 minutes.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
okay, we'll go through this one a bit faster then. Um, so this game you have Fiddlesticks mid, I guess. Uh, blah, blah, blah. This is a really hard game actually.
Uh-huh.
Vayne is like the last champion you want to play against, is Irelia?
I mean, like as long as you get the stun off, I feel like you can easily 1v on her.
Yeah, but she just builds QSS and then she kills you 1v1 at 2 items. like the the thing against Vayne is you'd have to have so much front line and disruption that that you can just burst her. Like she has Karma, she has Oriana as well. So like as soon as this game goes past like 2 items, this is VG.
Yeah.
And they have double exhaust too, so really awkward.
I think I like get ahead on laning phase a bit, but then suddenly like I get like dove or something. I think
hmm
because like Renekton is good at that.
Yeah, I mean here this is quite a dangerous 2v2 as well because they're relatively tanky 2v2 and with two stuns as well, so um there's there's like I with certain jungle matchups like you'll have like Lee Sin for example. If you're against a say I don't know Lee Sin and someone else. I mean, there's certain jungle matchups, right? You can basically 1v2.
Hmm.
But this is one
Like you
of those that is completely impossible. Like what you said?
like you just burst one down and then
Yeah.
use your first stacks.
Burst one down in a large minion wave and you can easily 1v2. But like even with a full minion wave stacked up, I don't think you'd be able to 1v2 these guys.
It's more like those matchups like Yasuo and like Nidalee or
Yep.
stuff like that. Or like Kennen especially. He's like so easy burst.
hmm Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, I usually play safe like very like my level 1 to 3 because like when I was like in like gold, when I noticed that the reason I kept on like losing laning phase is because I played aggressive early on.
Yep. No, that's fine. Like usually you play really passive 1 to 3 before level 4. But I mean, again, like that's usually. There's always going to be opportunities that pop up to to make um to get an advantage earlier than level 4.
Yeah, like when they face tank minions and you stun a minute.
Yeah, or they use key abilities as well.
Mhm.
Like Riven, she uses a Q and W at level 3. You can easily kill her.
Yeah.
Same with Renekton. He uses his if he doesn't have any stacks on his passive, then you can fight him. But usually the thing is, what happens is because you're playing passive level 1 and 2, he's gonna end up with 100 fury for the whole of level 3, and then it can deny you trading on level 4 as well at the same time. So it can be really really hard.
Mhm.
But then, again, like it's a question of does the opportunity arise? This is good. This is good for you.
Cause he's like face tanking those minions. So
Yep.
it's like
No, that's perfect. Like you see the position of the minion waves, right? You're tanking one melee and one caster. You're tanking these two, and he's tanking this whole thing.
yeah.
And he doesn't like the other thing against Renekton um he wins short trades, Irelia wins extended trades. And like I also picked up Irelia the first time I picked up Irelia like seriously was in silver. And like
Yes.
this was like three season 3, 4. You know when like Renekton with like Renekton Shyvana Mundo top, right? Every single game was Renekton Shyvana Mundo top. And so if you played it earlier, like these were all sort of Shyvana and Renekton were bad matchups, and then well, bad. They were not solved. Like no one knew how to beat them with Irelia, and then Mundo was the same. No one knew how to beat him, but he wasn't as strong. But basically, like the whole thing was against Renekton, you just extend trades for the whole W duration and you win them automatically.
And also, don't you want to like make him W first and then you stun because he's stunned while he does his W?
Ideally, you want him to use his W before you use yours. And you just let him use his W and whatever, and then stun him, and then continue the whole trade back. Because, like, he's going to do that sort of 400 damage initially, and then he's just going to be trading autos with you. And with your W on, your autos do basically twice the damage of his.
Yeah.
And this is another matchup where sort of the W usage is kind of important, just like with Gragas and Galio. Is the timing of your W matters a lot in this matchup because you get stunned 1.5 seconds with his empowered W. You get you get an auto cancelled by his stun. Like you lose a lot of time of your W. Um, so again, like the position of this trade is really good. The timing of this trade is really good as well because um, if you look at where does he stun? He stuns. He stuns there, right? You haven't used your W yet.
Yeah.
So you have the whole duration of your W when he goes into you. Yeah. So I mean that's fine. I mean that's really that's completely his fault, but you respond to it perfectly, so it's good. At this point, I think you're looking for the same base again, with the Phage Dagger Boots here. So the 1850. So that's 400 gold from here. So that would be this next minion wave plus the next one after that probably. Again, you can trade because you're going to base. You can trade evenly with him as well at this point, and it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
So what is it? You end up with so the next minion wave. So you should pick up this minion wave because he already shoved it in so much.
Yeah. I missed the carry sets. I had to like
Yep.
compensate.
Yeah, that's good. Hold on, let me see that. Yeah, that's perfect. You got the auto Q on him as well, just before he's out. Here you want to zone him because he's still he's level 6 now. But I feel like you can stand up a little bit further. And paying attention to the jungle. This game oh yeah, he started your red side. So his buff spawns are going to be later. That's one of the mistakes I think you make in this game is you're not doing anything level 1. You just
Yeah, I usually just like check stats when I'm level 1.
Mhm.
Like before the minion spawn, I just check stats. That's all I
Yeah.
usually do.
Really, you want to
Or
stand like somewhere in the jungle just defensively. What I do as blue side is I actually fake like I pretend I leashed their red side.
yeah.
Like you can cheese people so much with that because I've had so many times where my jungler starts bot side and then their jungler just comes in to invade an empty jungle at like 3.5 minutes in because they think, oh well, they started our red, but it's just me walking out of the tri bush.
Yeah.
Um, But you want to pay attention to where the jungler starts, and especially when you don't have any info in this game because uh both laners show up at the same time, both top and bot show up at the same time. You look at uh, like both people show up late, and this is entirely planned by them.
Oh no, I knew that Renekton started because he used his Fury. Like,
Oh yeah, he walks into lane with his passive. Yeah, you're right. But when does the buff second spawn happen then? Timing coincides with. I think the timing coincides with them starting the red buff. So you would have known, like if you was just standing in the tri bush, you would have known because Renekton would have walked through the tri bush into the river, and then like the way he pathed, he tried to make it less obvious. But if you were just sitting in the tri bush, then you would have seen it.
yeah.
There's a lot of information you can get from like at level 1. But yeah. Anyway, um, so at this point you'd assume okay. So then there's the blue spawn soon. I'd assume that Udyr is bot side at this point. I don't know what Kha'Zix is doing. Yeah, so Udyr was bot side. He goes to mid, now he goes to top side because his blue spawned. So you have like a 20-second window here to trade. I would ward river.
Oh yeah, because my lane is gonna slow push.
Yep. I would ward river and fast push this wave. You look at the timing of this, right? You can easily push this wave in before the next one arrives. And then you can just reset the wave completely while the jungler's top side, so there's like really not much gank opportunity to have. Um, yeah, this is really awkward now because the jungler's top side. Don't know why he's not coming for a gank because it's really free gank. Okay.
Yeah, like I was like, why did he suddenly is a jungler coming? So,
Yeah, but the jungler should have shown like half a minute ago. He could have just come through the river and killed you when that minion wave arrived, but you went mid instead. Okay. At this point, I think you want to just fast shove out one of these minion waves and base.
I think I Sheen and Dagger.
I'd go Sheen and Boots. You want to try and avoid TPing to lane at this point, so getting the boots is nicer for walking because you're just gonna get quicker. Okay, that's alright. Do you see the Q reset you can get here?
Yeah. But I think I was kind of greedy on my Sheen.
I don't know if you could have killed him, to be honest. You would have given him 2 E's with that Q reset. Does he eats twice, doesn't he?
I
No,
think
he only once. think you could have killed him. If you like,
Flash auto E.
let's say you flash. Yeah, you flash after that auto. You'd kill him.
And then
Definitely.
hit it with the last star.
Yep. Actually, with his flash, maybe not. Because you'd only get flash auto or flash E. You wouldn't get both auto and E.
But the fervor stacks might have.
Further stack Sheen, yeah, probably. That's what I'm thinking as well. Is you should be able to kill him with auto. Our auto. But I think it would have been better for you to try and use the Q reset here. Because if you, like, you Q here, right? You're going to be standing roughly here. You auto or balk down, you're going to be, even if you ease twice, you're going to be still, I think you're still within auto range. Maybe not auto range, but I mean, whatever. I mean, this is fine, really. You you force him out of lane, which is good. I wouldn't have. I probably would have said the other thing is you just don't use ult at this point, and you say, okay, I'm done here. You know?
He's on minion wave.
No, just don't use. Hold your ult. And then shove this minion wave. To get his TP. Uda's top side now. Yeah, too deep.
I
I mean,
thought
if
we
you,
could do it because he had no flash, but
yep,
he's like had ulti, so.
if you hadn't used your ult earlier, you would have killed him there, I guess.
Mhm.
Let's see. Yeah, probably. So you would. Hmm. I would have like assuming you hadn't assuming you had ult at this point. What you would have done is you flash W auto on him, and then you look for an RRQ on the minion while you're autoing him on one of these caster minions here,
Yeah.
and then you auto him Q reset, and then you have a Q reset out either direction, probably upwards. This is one of those situations you can make a lot of use out of your Q. But the prerequisite is of course that you have your ult up,
Yeah.
which is kind of unlucky because you used it ult earlier. So, and at that point you're going in too deep. Like after he uses a double E at this point, I would say I would just ping the Kha'Zix off, because if you were paying attention to his ult cooldown, you would know it's up by now because he used it 2.5 minutes ago. At this point you're overstaying because he has full passive. Yep. And then this is bad. That's bad by the Kha'Zix. Yeah, and at this point, you're losing the lane. You can still fight them. Well, Uda's on your
He
red
has.
buff.
Yeah, I should have known that one.
Yeah, when he walked into the river, that was really obvious that Uda was there. When your bot's doing okay at this point, so I'd say what you want to try and do is you just want to stall the game. You're not really looking for a huge amount of plays, you're just looking to get to Triforce and whatever item after Triforce in this game. I think it would be Titanic as well. At this point, Uda's bot, so you can fight. Oh no, he is top
But he has
still.
ulti, but I have no.
No, but you're looking to trade him down to like half health and then you all in him with your ult. Because you're never going to fall to 0 him at this point. Okay, no, yeah, it is top, so no. Could have walked up and stunned him there, I think. Okay,
I accidentally like quit double tap my Q there.
yep, yep. Oh my god, you got saved.
The fiddle fear.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine, you lose the tower, but it's kind of whatever at this point. Because you like, once you get to Triforce, your tower all at once loses so much value, because, like, you don't need your tower once you have Triforce. Would be nice to get the enemy tower instead, but yeah, you just shove.
I think I go for the tower here. Because he TP'd bot.
Yep. What's the next dragon here? That's what I'd be looking at. It's unlikely that you get it though. Mountain. Yeah, I don't think you get it. So get the tower instead. I think that's okay. Not perfect, but can do anything better.
Yeah, I messed up here. Didn't expect the exhaust. I was gonna like flash stun and then combo.
Kind of awkward because you used your W already at that point. Quite good by the Oriana. She's not layering any of her abilities. I would have, when you see her here like this, I would have walked back
Uh-huh.
and
Because I
then
already used W on the minion wave.
no, no. You walk back and then you wait for her to walk into a stun,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
then you're one level over her. Like, if you're actually fighting her, you would be able to 1v1. But if you look at it, you just Q auto to her, and then you're not doing anything the whole time. And I think you should have flashed over her there. Like, if you wait for the exhaust timeout, basically, but it's really awkward because you use your Q. Mm, yeah, I don't know. I think you should walk back when she shows in the minion wave. You just walk back, but then also look at your gold. Like, I don't think you even want to fight here. But if you fight, you want her to walk into the minion wave first so that you get a stun. And then if you're lucky, what happens is you stun her, right? You're gonna stun her roughly here. And then what she's probably going to do is she's going to shield R. So you Q reset out to one of these minions when she does that. Alternatively, you flash out and then you Q back to one of the minions to continue the fight after the ult. Because she's like, you see the way she uses her exhaust, right? After her ult CC. So you flash out, she's probably going to exhaust you. Or you flash out of her ult, if she's gonna exhaust you when you go back in. So then at that point you're just gonna wait, and then your E is probably gonna be back up, and you can still kill her because you have your ult, even though you don't have your W up. But really, you're looking for people to walk into your stun first, like walk into a position where you can stun them, because there's no way. Like, you look at her health pool, there's no way you're going to burst her with these items by just straight queuing to her. You know, if this was maybe if she was at this health and you had Titanic, then yeah, you could just straight up Q to her. But with just your Triforce, you don't even have boots at this point, so you're not gonna stick to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, it's sort of like, yeah, Vayne's gonna get a bunch of kills off this. And it's still not terrible actually. But as soon as Oriana's like, pardon me. As soon as Oriana starts putting points in her shield, like it's gonna be really hard to fight. You push up there with no vision.
Yeah.
I feel like it's better for you to go bot at this point as well because there's no dragon spawning. Yeah. Yep. Can't do anything. When you have no frontline with this comp, this is the biggest problem. Is you've no frontline, no disruption other than Rakan. At this point, you can't do anything. You're just too low. Yep.
I thought she would like E faster, so then what? The thing that roots and pulls back.
Yeah, but you got stunned by Vayne there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way you would have killed the Oriana because you just got stunned. Like you get Q stun there, like you're already dead, and it's because of the Vayne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's not really anything you can do at this point, I think. Like the only way you would have won this just is completely snowballing the shit out of the game. But like if Fiddlesticks gets some really good team fight ults off.
Like I think Fiddle was like behind really early
Yeah.
because it's a Fiddle mid.
Yep. Yeah, I mean at this point like Oriana's 6-1 and then like Udo's pretty fed. Vayne has 2 items. And again you're maxing E and buying Blade and again and it's against backline threats. Like Vayne is gonna kill you so much quicker than okay, that's okay. Vayne's gonna kill you so much quicker than your team can kill Renekton. So you have to like what you're trying to do is get with Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, I think we should have turned here, but
Yeah. You have to turn on the Oriana, like the Oriana's too fed. Yeah, and then this game's over now.
yeah, after the Baron, it's just they have like a late game comp with the Visionary, while we have
Well, they have a late game shield comp with like the hardest AD carry for Irelia to kill. So you're useless this game because of the comp.
uh,
Like the only way you win team fights is if Fiddle gets some like really godlike ult off. But even then, they just build Locket and Karma goes RE, and then that's the whole of Fiddlesticks damage shielded.
yeah.
So it's like it becomes really hard to 5v5 in this situation, and it's not like you're gonna go into side lane and 1v1 Vayne or 1v1 anyone on their team because Uda's just gonna show up.
I also have another question. Isn't Irelia like one of the strongest level 5 top lane?
Level 5?
Like
Yep.
she can like pretty much fight anyone, maybe except for Darius Pantheon.
Darius you can fight level 5, Pantheon you just wait till level 6. The problem with a lot of these hard matchups is that they can bully you enough before level 3 that you can't fight them at level 4 and 5.
Yeah.
And like the whole reason you should play really passively level 1 to 3 or at least really defensively is because you um your objective is to get to level 4 and 5 in a position that you can trade in so that you can actually take advantage of the fact that you're stronger in a 1v1 at that like in an even 1v1 at that point you're stronger than the enemy team.
And who do you usually ban when you play Irelia? Like I personally always ban Fiora because I just can't deal with that.
I
Because I
banned
feel,
Twitch.
is it like a counter to Irelia?
I just like I don't mind lane counters that much. The thing is, I like because of how many mistakes I make in my play, like I'm at a lower elo than I should be based on my laning. So I win lane a lot, and I don't think like my problem is usually I'll end up winning lane and playing super aggressively and then just getting ganked because I don't pay attention to the jungler. So like 1v1 is not a problem to me. And then Twitch is just obnoxiously strong anyway in team fights. And then when you take Twitch or Vayne and combine them with like some peel support, you can't do shit in the team fight. Same with Orianna. Like I'd probably ban Orianna. If I'm talking about champs I'd like to ban, it'd be Twitch, Vayne, Orianna, maybe Karma, probably Janna, stuff like that.
But like, doesn't it tilt you like when you get really unlucky vitals and then he randomly W's but you stun? So
Nah.
like, it tilts you because you know that they put they didn't predict your E. They just randomly put their W out just to reduce your attack speed, and then it tilts you. And then they get perfect vitals. It just
I feel like you
really
can
tilts.
predict like in if you're unless you're like talking about a really good Fiora player, you can always predict the W. And usually, like the actual value of the W in the Irelia versus Fiora matchup is that Fiora can deny Irelia's Q order.
and also reduces attack speed.
Yep. But I don't like Fiora's sort of hard, but not. It's not hard enough that I'd consider banning her because she's just so weak in team fights anyway. So you can like I suppose I do focus a lot more on snowballing through mid game through like team fights and picks and stuff like that. So 1v1 matchups, like even though I'd say my laning is strong, there's a lot of games where I'll just say, okay, I'm just not gonna play it at all aggressive and I'm just gonna snowball the shit out of mid game. You know, I'll leave lane like 1-1 or something like that. And between 13 minutes and 25 minutes, I pick up like 10 kills.
Yeah,
But like I think that's where Irelia is like at her strongest is in small team fights.
skirmishes.
Yep. And making picks and like off her rifle bar spike because you can burst people so hard. Yeah. So anything else you want to cover?
I think that's it.